So concluding the last ois again, now as I was just saying, I want to, between now and Rosh Hashanah, go over the Maimer again, push it inside, learn it together again. Everybody's okay with that? Yeah, okay. The min Hameitzar v'zeu, last ois again. Gaman, the whole Shana, says the Gemara on the words Mereishis Shana v'adachris Shana, the word Reishis is spelled without an aleph, which can be rendered poor. Rosh means poor. So kol Shana she Rosha bitchilosa Mereishis Shana. The pasuk says Mereishis Shana va'ad achris Shana. So any year that is poor at the outset, misasheres b'soifa, is wealthy at the end. She sold. What's this poor in wealth? Bepnimius, meaning she sold oisin atzom roshin. Yidden make themselves poor. We explained the diukim in that they make themselves because we really cannot appreciate our own paucity in the face of atzmos. So oisin atzmon and k'may rosh v'onish einlim like a poor person. This quoting Rashi that has nothing. For betachlis hametzar, and he's in absolute state of constraint. For God loitzak kosevitan. So here is the Rebbe is not speaking men hametzar korosi. Korosi is coming in a moment that was explained earlier, but here just he's focusing on the metzar, and he's referring to, as you'll see, well, all of us, first of all. What's the yitztaina? It's a kosa v'tanose. This is a tzayka. This is not a korosi. This is a tzayka based on a cheshbon and a taina. Lifnei Hashem yishbach sichur tefillah oni kiyatov. Quoted earlier in the Maimon when the oni wraps himself. Lifnei Hashem yishbach sichur. Sichur means an exchange, an argument. Madu agia lechel kelis oni. Why must he be the oni? And Ein Elabadas, as explained yesterday, the true union of Aniyas, the context there is not the person's wealth or not, but his attitude about his wealth. That's true Aniyas. In Bepnimius, it means that what does Aniyas mean? True Aniyas, true poverty is Bedas in our appreciation. She'enli Salga Balakus. So he has a taina that he doesn't have he's not able to grasp godliness. It's not his fault, and it's not because of anything that he's responsible for. He's speaking, he's in Golos and the limitations of the goof, etc. And especially our fellow brothers, who are in the literal Mitzar. That's how the Fabrengen began. That was talking about the Yidden in Mitzar, that tzomlocha nafshi komolocha psori kain b'kodesh chazisicha. They quoted the famous teaching of the Baal Shem Tov. David the Melech said, "Kain b'loshen halavai." Halavai, because he said this in Midbar Yehuda when he was exiled, when he was fleeing Avshalom. And then in Midbar Yehuda, Tzomah, he soul thirst for the Eibishter, to be in the Mishkan. Came b'kodesh chadisicha halavai, when he'll be in Kodesh, I said, seek you and long for you like I long for you here. The Rebbe was speaking about the Russian Eden in this first Sikha before the Maimer, and the bracha that they should come out as Moedike bracha, as is coming now, and that when they come out, they should have the Kein B'Kodesh Chazisicha, that longing still, that connection still. She'ein manichem ma'isam lil mitzvah l'kai mitzvahs, that they don't allow them learn Torah to mitzvahs. She'ein manichem ma'isam lachanech as b'neim b'derech ha'Torah mitzvahs. They don't allow them, the Yidden, there to educate the children of Torah mitzvahs. So this is their rosha, this is their poverty. And they know Ela Bedas, they're saying that they don't have the opportunity to learn even. Shekodim and Hameitzar, the Yid that he calls out from the constraint. Favos kumtasim. Why this is happening to him? It's no fault of his own. So Azai misasheres besoifa. So this brings to wealth at the end. Hainu. Tell us to see the Kutu Levi Yitzchak. I don't have it. Hainu miyad achar tkiya shofar. So when is the response of the Eibush? It's right after tkiya shofar shenimshach b'chinas mercha v'atz mid atmos ein sof. That the broad, essential broadness of the essence of the Eibush is drawn down. Heichal me'amshachas ha'mercha b'nyonim aruchni. Beginning with its manifestation beruchnius. Li'ismol loretz deus Hashem. Not ein oni alabadas. He's poor in Deo, but on the contrary, mol loretz deus Hashem. His mind, his awareness is filled with the knowledge of Hashem. And then from the ruchnis dikim merchav, it's drawn into physical broadness. Binyonim agashmim. In physical matters, and even in coarse material matters, corporeal matters, bepashtus, and simply expressed, they will go out from constraint to freedom to broadness, bekodev mamish. And so it was. Okay, so let's begin the Maamar again. Friends, have your permission? Between now and Rosh Hashanah, yes, Chaim gave his consent already. What about the rest of you?
Yes.
Yes.
Chaim's the president.
In your course, it says yes.
Chaim's the president.
Huh?
Chaim's the president.
Sorry, say again.
Chaim is the president. Whatever he says goes.
Chaim's the president. Yeah.
All in favor.
Chaim's the president, and Mordechai is the senior, the elder Chassid. So we got the permission from both of them. So we're gonna go ahead. Min hametzar korosi ko ononi b'merchav ko. Okay, I didn't see all the guys who were on this morning. Good. Avner, Adam, Fischl, Yossi. Good. Jacob, Fred. Min hametzar korosiko, from the constraint I call to Hashem, ononi b'merchav ko, answer me in the broadness of the divine. Rebbe asks in the Maamar of 1949. We have to understand that the term here, that from the depths I call, like a person calls to his fellow. It's a simple call. To the Chayra, it would appear, given Shemaktim Loimi Ben Hameitzar, since the pasuk says that it's coming from where? From a deep constraint, a deep limitation, a prison. Have the Loimi Ben Hameitzar Shavosi, from the depth Shavosi, I supplicate. Tzakti, I cry. Or Yuzoakti. Al derech Masha Kosev, like it says in the pasuk about the Yidden in the Mitzrayim, and they cried out Hashem, Vatal Shivosam, and their supplication, their save me, ascended on high, because they were in a Hametzar. So if it's min Hametzar, how is it Karosi? A simple, casual call. Ubefrat. And the question is stronger. So especially since this pasuk comes, it's all part of, is elaborating on the Frierdiker Rebbe's question. And especially this pasuk comes after, he said before Tkiyah Shofar, which comes after the preparation throughout the entire month of Elul, a general achana. Koiling also Gam Yemei Slichas, and the Yid is already done the avoid of Slichas, and then Erev Rosh Hashanah, and then Leil, Erev Rosh Hashanah, Leil Rosh Hashanah night, Ad Lebeike, Rosh Hashanah Lifnei Tkiya Shefer, and he's already done the avoid of Rosh Hashanah the morning before Tkiya Shefer. Vim Kain, how is it possible? That after such a deep avodah, how does he say the psukim? And what's the avodah of the psukim before this moment at Tkiya Shefer? Casual. Surely it comes from a very profound and deep place. That's the shaila. That's the question of the Fidik Rebbe. And the Rebbe says, based on this whole description of the Fidik Rebbe, we have a question the other way. The question now is, Ma'imri min Hameitzar. A Yid is in a state of Meitzar, a constrained, a narrow place, and a confinement. Not so, it would appear. Again, the Rebbe repeats again, that the whole Avodah of Chedesh Elul, Yemei Asliches. Friends, as we say and learn the words together, when the Rebbe says Yemei Asliches and so on, we're getting the sinas koyach for the Avodah. It's not too late. So Yemei Asliches of Chedesh Elul. Then comes Erev Rosh Hashanah, and then Leil Rosh Hashanah at night. Ad la Beike Rosh Hashanah Lifnei Tkiya Shefer. The Rebbe could have just said, after all the aforementioned avodah, he doesn't. He reckons it all out again, giving us Nesinas Koyach on top of Nesinas Koyach. So up until the morning of Rosh Hashanah Lifnei Tkiya Shefer, and how is it possible? She motzi adayin b'mayim matzav shel meitzer, that a yid should be in a state of containment, of confinement. More detail about Yisrael, so the question is stronger. That Chedesh Elul is revealed Hashem's 13 divine attributes of mercy. Hashem promised Moishe Rabbeinu and said, so great is their virtue. Hashem promised they will never return empty. They'll be fulfilled in some way. The forgiveness, the rachamim. So this is not only in terms of Hashem forgiving us from His perspective, but that we're oblivious to it. That you'd give him this rachem affect the person. This gewaldige gilui certainly affect and arouse an awakening and inspiration within the person. The noisef, and then moreover, in addition to this, the awakening inspiration. First, yeah. So in addition to the inspiration that comes to us and we're affected by it, again, it's not just God cleansing us from His perspective, but it affects and stirs and arouses the soul. There's a further inyan. There's a further inyan of refinement. That's the Eibishter's tzarachamim, and it certainly stirs us. But in addition to that, there's also that which the Yid himself, his avodah. The Polosim Shal Yisrael, that's Minig Yisrael, Shetoikim b'Shofer, the Yidden blow Shofer, b'Mesher Kol Yamei Chedesh Elul. That certainly affects and refines and elevates and inspires. Kedisa b'Tur, it's brought down in the Torah, Sheskinu Chazal, Shetoikim b'Shofer Kol HaChodesh Chazal Mesaken, this Minig. It's not a mitzvah that Rabbanon would make a bracha over it. It's a minig, but the Mesaken is a minig. to blow shofar that the entire month, Kedei lahazres Yisrael, she asked tshuva to inspire, warn Eden to do tshuva. Shenem, you talk about shofar bir, as it says, if the shofar is blown in the city, and the people will not tremble. It's a rhetorical question. Shofar affects a person awe and trembling. As the pasuk says, and the people will not tremble. It's not possible. Yesh lo Yosef, and the Rebbe says that this is unconditional. Because this that Tkiyah Shofar affects a person. Fear and trembling, it's a halacha psuka b'Torah. It's a psuka means cut. Halacha in Torah. She efshel is beifnach haklal. So it can't be any other way. It can't be any other way. V'hainu shadei Tkiyah Shofar mis'ored afilu kal shebekalim. Even the most light of the light, who takes everything lightly, literally, is awake, aroused by Tkiyah Shofar. How much more so someone who is shaykh to avoid. And the truth is, every Yid is shaykh to some kind of avoid. If he doesn't want, he wants to want. The nimtza, so it comes out. Even someone, he knows Elul is coming, but he's not moved. And it comes along Elul, Erev Rish Chodesh Elul, and no change. When he, even this Yid, he is Kiyah Shofar Rish Chodesh Elul v'elach, from Rish Chodesh Elul onwards, Harehu Misoider, the halacha paskins that he is awakened, and there is a movement of awe, fear, and trembling. So this was an ashtikal ariches that Rabbi elaborated here on the inyan of you'd given me the serachamim and now Tkiyah Shofar. And a third thing, v'oidzos. From Chodesh Elul on, we say every day, Ledov Hashem is my light and my salvation. It means that during these days, every Jew is in a matzav of Shavaya Meir, Lord, the Eibishter illuminates him, my light, and Saderech HaShayelech, by the way that he should go upon Veloy Oidem. Furthermore, he helps him. It's not just clear, but he gets divine assistance. Yishi Ve'oizay, and assists him to go in this way. So after this whole Aved in Elul, you'd give me the Serachamim and Tkiyah Shofar. The David Hashem Moedi v'Yishi, Hare bevadai shekol echad v'echad misol nimtze kva b'mayim the matzav shela achrei etzim and hameitzer. Certainly, every Jew, no Jew is no longer in a confinement, in a constraint. He's already out of constraint, out of the mitzvah. Vim kein, and if so, the question is Mao Inyan. Sheva psukim shel Tkiyah Shofar omrim. How is it the psukim before Tkiyah Shofar we say min hametzar dafke? Yeah, Oiz base. Everybody's with me?
Kadima.
Huh?
Go.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Levi is happy. My friends, the first time we learned it, it was more with the seichel to understand. Now we have to learn the Maimah more with our heart. Yes, the vayzeh b'maymer azal. So what is it that a yid says min ha'mitzar after the holy avodah? So we can explain it in light of the Gemara called Shona Derash b'tchilasa misasheres b'soifa. In a year that's poor, the outset is wealthy at its conclusion. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, that the eyes of Hashem are upon it. Mereshis hashona mereshis choseksiv. The word reshis is missing an aleph. Vad achar is still the end of the year. So the word Rashis can be read, Rosh is poor, that's the beginning. And then Seifa, Sheesh Lachas, but the end there is a future, that's the wealth at the end. What's the poorness, what's the poverty at the outset of the year? What does it mean that's beginning, that it's poor? Sheisrael, Oisin, Atzman, Roshim, but Rosh Hashanah, Eden make themselves poor. On Rosh Hashanah, the Daber, Tachanunim, Utfilah, to speak words of supplication, appeal, and prayer. Kinyan shenemar, as the pasuk says, in Mishlei tachanunim yedaber rosh. The poor speaks. He speaks with entreaties, supplication. So what is the pshat? Admo Marash explained the Masel Tiki B'Dashas Tofresh Chavches. So the Rebbe Marash explains in his Maimer, beginning of the words tiku, shezuya maila that tefillas only, that this is the maila. The Gemara is speaking about the maila of the tefillah of the poor. Commercial Kosev, as the pasuk says in Tilim, zanu korav avaya shemeya. The poor calls out and Hashem hears. V'zel gamin de min ha'mitzar, and that's also the min ha'mitzar here. It's the poor person's prayer. What is it? Shual derech, this is what the Gemara is saying. She sold oisin atzim rosh, and they make themselves poor. And that's the keli to the broadness of Hashem's response. She's only misashter for the wealth that comes at the end. Soifa sheshlo achlis, the words of the Gemara, an end that has a future. And this word future, it's an unusual expression. Soifa sheshlo achlis. Achlis actually means kind of an end. But here it means actually a future. The achris in makoilo, the word achris, if you look at, spell out the letters, and you add one more number for the word itself, that's imakoilo, that's a method of gematria, it's gematria keser. And what's keser? Crown, wealth, the expansiveness of the divine. That's true wealth. Keser is true wealth, true blikvul, true boundlessness. There is a wealth of the spirit of Tiferes. No, higher than that. I feel even the wealth of Bina, both of them are expansive, yet they're all limited. Kesed is the true wealth. Elagam Hashir is the Kesed Bligvul, the true Bligvul. So, what's the Meitzar? The Meitzar is that we make ourselves poor. Tfilas, the Tfilah of the Oni, and that elicits the wealth, the merchav. Now, delving deeper in this year that the outset is poor, Rashi says, he didn't make themselves poor. Implication is that not really. They make themselves this way because of their humility, their bittul. And now he concludes his explanation of min ha'mitzar. The min ha'mitzar, and they can explain min ha'mitzar that this last point is key to it, because the whole question was, we've done all this avodah, so where is the paucity? The answer is oisin atzman roshim. They make themselves, to be explained later in the Maamar in depth. But so far, this is min ha'mitzar. Both things are true. Truthfully, objectively, after the whole avodah of Elul and so on, leading up to Tkiyah Shofar, you're not really min ha'mitzar. The Rebbe asked, how could they be? The answer is they not. So why do we say min ha'mitzar? The answer is habitl, because of humility. They make themselves poor. Therefore, there is also the min ha'mitzar, even though the Jews gone long out of confinement and restraint. That's what you might want to say. But the Rebbe rejects it completely, immediately. Omdam being using a maspik. What do you mean they make themselves that? They are or they're not. There's no posturing. So this explanation is insufficient. The given avoid has to be internal and true. Harigam and the Hameitzar tzarich liyos. Hameitzar has to be laid up even shebeemes kvar yotz min Hameitzar. Can't be that really he's no longer the Hameitzar. V'rak oisa atzma k'Moishe b'Hameitzar. He makes himself like he's in the Hameitzar. Oisin atzma roshin. As we learned the Maimon, I suggested, what's even the Hava Mina, Oisin Atzmai? Suggested maybe it could be it's Al Derech, Al Rebbe, and get a Tshuva. A person's sins over which he did Teshuvah, he holds him a distance to humble him. So he's really gone, he's no longer in that state. He's done Teshuvah, he's regretted that he's moved on. But Chatosi, Negdi Somid, Negdi means the distance. The distance that he's humbled. He says he accepts upon it, whatever happens, whatever. So maybe it's something like that. But the Rebbe said that's still not satisfactory because it's got to be pneumistic. It's got to be true. Not in no way that you just make yourself. When you move, let's conclude. When you move an echev shalach leklos havadit chadish elul. How is it after laved of elul ad kedem kliyas sheven all the way till mamish standing before kliyas shefer? Yadayin b'mayim the matzav shel meitza be'emes. He should truly be not because of any consideration, but because of an objective right now meitza. How could that be? But it must be shalachin im b'amitis v'pnimis min meitza. It must be because Teres Emes says just the same in Hameitzar. So we're back to our question. B'yachad at the same time, so we don't know how, but yet, but somehow this has to be true. So you're truly in a state of deep confinement, and it's a casual call. Kriya Bilvad. We continue Be'ez Hashem on Thursday in person, friends, in MTC and on Zoom.